November 12, 1942, Richmond, California. A massive ship slides into San Francisco Bay just 4 days, 15 hours, and 29 minutes after its first piece was laid down. The crowd roars, sirens blare. In that moment, a craft centuries old bows to a new power. System design, modular construction, and the incredible speed of a factory brought to the sea. The ship is the SS Robert E. Peary. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't elegant, but it was complete. It was seaworthy, and it was proof that speed and standardization could beat tradition when time itself is the enemy. Before this, a ship this size took 6 to 8 months to build. The work was a long, slow dance. Lay the keel, raise the frames, add the plates, drill and rivet, fit the engine, run the pipes. It had a certain beauty, but it didn't have the speed a global war demanded. In World War II, the oceans were fragile highways. The Allies needed to move food, fuel, and soldiers across them faster than the enemy could sink them. The solution? A simple, rugged design called the Liberty ship. Standardized hull, reliable old-school steam engine, and as many interchangeable parts as possible. Strong enough to carry heavy loads, and simple enough to be built by the thousands. Enter Henry J. Kaiser. He wasn't a shipbuilder. He was an industrial organizer, a man who did the impossible with dams and highways. He looked at a shipyard not as a shrine to tradition, but as a flow system waiting to be engineered. What if ships weren't handcrafted in one long sequence? What if they were made like modern products, broken into large modules, built at the same time, and assembled by teams trained to do one task really, really well? The answer rose from empty mudflats that turned into massive shipyards almost overnight. The entire yard was laid out like an assembly plant. The goal was flow. Eliminate waiting. This meant flipping old habits on their head. Riveting gave way to electric arc welding. Instead of thousands of hot rivets hammered one by one, welders fused clean, strong seams. This saved weight, saved time, and allowed huge sections to be built away from the ship and brought together like a giant kit. Skeptics warned that welded holes were unproven, but necessity beat caution. There was no time for old rituals. The other revolution was human. Traditional shipyards were built on family lineage, with skills passed down over generations. Kaiser's yards posted notices across the country and trained anyone willing to work. Former clerks, farmhands, and housewives learned to weld, fit, and guide massive steel plates. The training was fast and focused. Not learn everything, but learn the exact weld you will repeat hundreds of times. Specialization crushed the learning curve. Then came the factory logic: build in parallel. While the hull base was being laid, another crew assembled the bow, already fitted with anchors. A third crew built the stern, complete with its steering gear. In a separate shop, teams mounted the steam engine, tested it, and had it ready before it even saw the ship. Deckhouses were built and wired on the ground, then craned into place whole. When the cranes moved, they weren't lifting parts to be finished. They were lifting finished sections to be joined. This shattered the calendar. The first ships took months, then weeks, then days. The record run that produced the SS Robert E. Peary was the ultimate expression of this system. Was it just a stunt? Many thought so. They expected a hollow shell launched for a photo op. But when the Peary hit the water, it was nearly complete. The record meant something because the preparation meant everything. And the numbers tell the real story. As the program matured, average build times fell from hundreds of days to just a few weeks. At its peak, American yards were launching 3 Liberty ships every single day. The brutal logic of war is simple. If one side can sink 2 ships while the other builds 3, the math eventually decides the outcome. It wasn't perfect. Early on, some welded hulls fractured in cold seas, but feedback became the fix. Engineers changed steel types, refined welding methods, and redesigned weak points. The system didn't deny flaws. It absorbed them, learned, and corrected. That mindset, measure, adapt, improve, was as crucial as any crane. The workforce itself changed America. Women stepped into industrial roles in huge numbers. Minorities entered skilled positions, breaking down old barriers. The yards didn't just make ships, they made capability, proving that talent is everywhere when you give people opportunity. As the war ended, the lines slowed, but the method lived on. Modular construction, block assembly, and parallel outfitting became the new language of modern shipbuilding worldwide. And the Liberty ships, designed for a short emergency life, kept sailing for decades after the war, a testament to their simple, rugged design. So what does this story teach us today? First, scale is a strategy. Building many good enough, units quickly can beat building a few perfect ones when the clock is ticking. Second, flow wins. Design your work so it moves without waiting. Third, specialization can slash training time without sacrificing quality. Fourth, problems are your teachers. Don't hide them. Put them under a spotlight and learn from them. And finally, leadership is about system design. Kaiser didn't run these yards with speeches. He ran them with layout, cranes, schedules, and a relentless bias for action. Imagine that November morning. The deck plates staged, the house modules ready, the engine already breathing in a shop nearby. Imagine thousands of people, each an expert in a specific motion, all moving to a single, powerful rhythm. That is what launched with the SS Robert E. Peary. Not just a ship, but a new way of thinking made real. The old wisdom said shipbuilding required time and tradition. The new wisdom said time is flexible if your process is designed correctly. If you manage a project, a factory, or a startup, the echoes are everywhere. Don't let your work be held hostage by a single bottleneck. Don't chase elegance when reliability is what wins. And don't mistake tradition for truth. The deepest lesson is that ordinary people, given a clear mission, practical training, and a system that sets them up to win, can do what experts call impossible. The SS Robert E. Peary was a ship. It was also a declaration of what is possible when purpose and process align. It's a lesson that didn't end at the pier. It still belongs to anyone ready to trade. We've always done it this way. For let's design a better way, then run it at speed. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this story of innovation and ingenuity as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the systems that shape our world. See you in the next video.